I was born in China, and my father and my mother, at that time they had 6 kids, and but because my father worked for the government, opposite government, when the Red China came in, and then because they were educated and they were landlord, and so my father had to leave China. From China, he went to Hong Kong first. So my father later, after half a year, sent for my mom and asked my mom to bring my brother. And at that time, I was a year old. My father said, bring the kids later. However, nobody wanted me, good thing, because I was, I still in diaper and not trained. I couldn't look after myself. So my mom took me. And then my sister, that's older than at that time, was supposed to come later and to go back to the village with my aunt after seeing us off. And last minute, she didn't want to go back to the village. And so my mom managed to buy a train ticket. And so the 3 kids, and plus my mom, came to Hong Kong from China. And that was the last time my parents saw the rest of the kids.
I was born in Hong Kong. The reason why, because our parents, the younger son, so there's no chance they would take over the farm, right? So after their marriage, they moved to get a new life. At that time, Hong Kong just is a British colony. There will be more chances to survive, right, if they find jobs. Or they have a barbecue shop, so we're doing pretty good. But then my dad passed away when I was 9. So my mom had to take over the business.
But Simon and I got married in 1972.
The reason we want to start a new life in the foreign country, 1997, Red China going to take back Hong Kong. They did.
We were in Calgary for 6 years, and 1978 we moved to Vulcan.
It's really interesting. We got friends in Calgary. Their niece is, their uncle is Cookies, who owned the new club cafe. So one day, and they told us, hey, my uncle wants to move back to Calgary. Are you interested in have your own restaurant? So we make the right decision then.
In our restaurant, as you know, that we hardly cook Chinese food except Friday. The rest is steak and pizza and other stuff. But Simon and I at home cook a lot of Chinese food, and we eat out. When we eat out with friends and families, we always have Chinese food. And when we first came in here in 1972, we have very limited Chinese ingredients. Now that you can buy anything Chinese, everything that your heart desires, you can buy them. What we are cooking today is typical Southern Chinese style of zhong, and yes, it's called in Mandarin. It's called Zongzi, but it's very similar. But the inside is different. So here we put meat, we put peas, green peas, and we put rice and salted duck egg yolk and dry scallop, and put it wrapped in the bamboo leaf, treated, special way, and then boiled it for 7 hours, and then we eat later. How it started, they thought that 1,000 years ago there was a poet, and then also a government, work for government, and very smart and have ideas for what to do. So he was good with the emperor at that time, and later, because he was so successful, other people were gotten jealousy of him. So then later he kind of, he couldn't get the emperor to listen to him, and the emperor lost a lot of land and people that fought in the war. And so he jumped into the river and killed himself. But because he was such a well-liked person, so people didn't want the fish that they thought that it would eat the body. So that's why they make this rice thing to dump it into the river, so that the fish will eat this instead. And so then that's from then on, when he died, an anniversary, people doing the same thing. And then they also have the dragon boat, so that they make a lot of noise to scare off the spirit and the fish and all of that. So that's why we, around this time, the 5th day of the 5th month in Chinese calendar, and so there is a dragon boat race. And then this is the time that we cook this food. From the time that I buy all the ingredients and grocery, so that's one day, and because we have to go to Chinatown. And then the next day I have to do the preparation work, and soaking the bamboo leaves and cooking it, and the rice, soaking it, and then get everything ready, marinate the meat. And then we have to wrap them one day, and then it's 7 hours of cooking time, so about 3-4 days. It is a labor of love for sure.
Now